All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Digital Toolbox Podcast. This is a podcast where we bring on guests from the home services space. They tell their story, they give us some tips, they give us some advice, we tell some stories, and we have a great time. Today, our guest is none other than Nate Santos. Nate, go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Nate Santos. I am the owner of Santos Bros Plumbing, based out of Paso Robles, California, on the Central Coast.
Boom, let's go. So, Nate, you're a plumbing guy. How did you get into plumbing, man? Tell us your story. How did you come up?
Well, man, there's a good old saying that says, "I didn't choose a plumbing life; the plumbing life chose me." That that pretty much sums it up for me, man. I actually had an uncle who has a plumbing company. He's done pretty well for himself. Has about, I think, 5 trucks here within the county that I live in and where I was born and have grown up. And for many years, man, since I was like right before about to graduate high school, he started kind of trying to talk me into joining his team and getting involved in the trade. And
Mhm.
you know blue collar work, man, probably wasn't like the hottest idea of any young individual coming fresh out of high school. I wasn't thinking about, doing plumbing, and I was like, nah, I'm cool. I kept telling him no. He kept bugging me for, a few years. And then I was in like my mid 20s. I was in a little bit of a pinch and I needed to show proof of income. And I said, hey, Theo, uh, you got a company, you got a business. Do me a favor real quick, just find this paper here that says you paid me this much money. You don't really got to, but just, help me out here. And he was like, oh, this is perfect. This is perfect. Mijo, come work with me. I've been telling you for years, come work for me. And I'm like, I'm not trying to work with you, man. I'm not trying to do plumbing. I just want you to, help me out here. He's like, no, I help you out. You help me out. So long story short, man, I started working with him. I worked with him for about 2 years. After him, I worked for a property management company. A few years after that, during actually the lockdowns, there was a lot of people not traveling, staying at home. People
Mhm.
canceled parties. People weren't going out and about. So people are stuck at home. They're like, well, that leak that's been going on in that faucet, might as well replace it. Hey, you know what? That water heater went out. Let's get a new one. And just word of mouth, man. People started contacting me, and I thought to myself, like, oh, wow, I can make some money off of this. Might as well get my license. And here I am now, man. Starting going on my second year now in business.
Second year in business. And Nate, you just got a second truck, right? So
Yeah.
2 years in, two trucks. Tell us about that formula. What's going on there?
Yeah, man. Just want to grow the business, man. Calls are coming in, phone is ringing. I can't get to all the calls. I want to grow the business. Got the second truck. Got it wrapped. Got my new guys working with me and taking over the North County area, man. So if
Yes,
anyone out there
sir.
watching, you want to get into plumbing, service and repair, man, holler at your boy. Want to come to Cali? I'm hiring.
Guys, there it is. That's the opportunity. Anybody that's on the East Coast that's tired of all the cold. I mean, summer's coming up now, but you only got 3 months to enjoy that. When you really want to enjoy Cali and you want to do some plumbing and you want to make some money, go to Nate. Nate's
Yes,
the
that's
guy.
right. I'm your guy.
Yes, sir. That's awesome, Nate. And Nate, I noticed too. Is the truck the exact same one that you already have, like the same model?
No, it's slightly different. So
Uh
out
huh.
here where we're at, there's a short supply. Like I learned plumbing from my uncle's company, and we had the box trucks with the side bins, where
Hmm.
you put some materials and some tools, and then we have the walk-in compartment in the back to store
Right.
bigger materials, bigger tools. And so that's the first one that I got. And when I got my first one about a year and a half ago, it was the only one on the lot available, and it was like 2 compartments bigger than I wanted it. It's a tank of a freaking truck, and I'm like, I don't want this thing's too big. But I kept looking around, I didn't find nothing, so I swooped up on it. I got it, and I've been looking since the beginning of the year, kind of end of last year. I started looking around because I just knew that was my plan is to grow the business, and I was like,
Hmm.
well, first year in business, I did this. I'm coming in the second year, I should be doing more, and I'm marketing more, getting my name out there more. Calls are coming in. I need to have a truck ready by this date. Started looking around. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm in the Central Coast of California. I checked out the vendors here locally for trucks. Nothing available. Went all the way out to Fresno. I got an uncle out there in Fresno. Nothing there. Found this one down in Southern California, Ventura. south of Santa Barbara,
Mhm.
and reached out to them. They shipped it out. It's a little bit different. It doesn't have the side bins. It's just one enclosed box truck, kind of like a U-Haul, but on the inside of it, it has all the bins and shelving to store materials and tools and stuff. What I really liked about it is that it's big, square, and tall, and to me, it's just like a giant billboard,
Yo,
mobile
it
billboard.
literally, yeah, your guys' sign is all over that thing, bro, which is awesome because it calls attention, right? And that brings me to my next question. I have two questions, Nate.
Let's
Don't
hear
let
it.
me don't let me forget these two questions. The first one is, how did you guys come up with your logo, right? And you guys call yourselves the Pipe Wranglers, right? So it's very kind of like country-ish, cowboy-ish. How did that come about?
So, a little backstory on me. My dad sings mariachi style music,
Oof.
and he
Mexico. Viva
performs
Mexico.
Viva Mexico. That's right. And, and so with that, he's actually the lead vocalist of the mariachi. So he does a show where the mariachi band is all performing, the violins, trumpets, guitars, and he's the lead vocalist. And he does this show where he performs on horseback, kind of like
Wow.
I don't know if you ever heard of Antonio Aguilar or
Yeah, and his horse would dance very, very fast.
yes, exactly. So that's my dad does
Ooh.
that. And I grew up around that most of my life. So I'm big into horses. Before the plumbing, man, I was trying to really make a business out of the dancing horses and providing an entertainment service.
Mhm.
And I was going to networking things and trying to get the name out there. And bro, nowadays that we live in, no one needs a horse, let alone a dancing horse. So as much as I love it and as passionate as I am about the dancing horses, ain't nobody needing a dancing horse at their party at their get together nowadays. You know what I mean? It's just something for fun. I gave it a shot. I'm not giving up on that dream. I'm just kind of sidetracking with the plumbing because plumbing is a
Mhm.
lot more consistent. There's a much higher demand for plumbing. People use
That was more
plumbing
profitable,
every
probably.
day. It's more profitable than damn horses, man. Feed is not cheap. Um, and so because I'm involved with the horses with my dad, and I grew up with the horses, I love horseback riding, trail riding up in the mountains. I've gone to the beach. I grew up literally, man, a couple blocks from the riverbed. I ride my horse down to the riverbed. Growing up, that was just like a normal thing for me. And so starting the plumbing business, man, even though that's what I'm doing, like the horses, like that's my heart right there, so I wanted to incorporate what I really am, and my heritage with the cowboy hat. If you notice, if you zoom in, you saw the pictures of it. My boots are cowboy boots and I have
Yep.
spurs in there.
I saw the little Spurs. Yep.
I'm wearing overalls because right here where I'm at, we're in the middle of LA and the Bay Area. So, and it's a lot more country like. It's not real big city like. Paso Robles is a small town, like maybe 30,000 people. There's some other neighboring towns that are kind of big, but it's real country out here. There's a lot of cattle, real big right here with grapes. It used to be known for almonds. There's fields out here. So it's a very ag like uniform from a plumber. Overalls, got the flannel because it's a cowboy.
Yep.
Cowboy
Yep.
hat, and I will rock the cowboy hat when I go to the jobs and stuff.
No, get the fuck out of here. Are
I've
you serious?
It's straight up raw, and I have the cowboy work boots, and I've gotten so much feedback, man. The positive feedback. People are like, "Oh my god, you look just like the guy off the truck." Because I have different colored flannels, but the little cartoon character, has a red one. So I'll
Uh-huh.
wear a red flannel sometimes, and then I'll always wear the overalls, cowboy hat, and that's my work uniform, man.
Dude, let's fucking. I love that right there, bro, because you're showing up as yourself, right? Like, so
Yeah,
many people are afraid to do that. I talk to a lot of people and I do marketing for a lot of people that are so afraid to show themselves, bro. And I'm like, why are you so afraid? Like, the client's gonna see you when you go there. So, like, show up as yourself, It's okay to be you. Dude,
dude.
you have fucking cowboy boots inside the bro. No, I cannot believe you showed up with the cowboy hat though.
Yeah, cowboy hat. I wish I had put it on. I forgot about putting it on right now, man. Because typically, I just like I said, I just have my new guy that just started with me recently, and he's got his cowboy hat. He's got the overalls, flannels, and
Oh
I
man.
just tell him, and I tell him this is the uniform. You know what? During the interview process, this is what we're wearing. Customers love it, and we get feedback for it. Do you have any problems? They're like, oh no, I can wear that. Sweet. And then I always tell them I make it a thing, especially if it's a first time customer. However, when you reach the customer's house and you go and you knock, you're like, oh, hey, I'm here with Santos Bros Plumbing, here to help you out, or what have you. We're rocking the uniform, we're rocking the cowboy hat. Once we get into the work, let's say it's going underneath the house, into the attic, maybe underneath the sink, and the cowboy hat is in your way, that's okay. Go ahead and take it
Bro,
off, put on a baseball cap if you want, get to work. The whole thing is about the presentation up front at first.
dude, yeah, 1000%, 1000%, and I love that. So this is actually the culture, right? People probably look at the logo like, oh, that's just the logo, but no, you look at Nate. Look at Nate. I thought I was gonna ask you this too. That was the second question. I was like, okay, I see you have on the flannel. I see you have on the overall, like the logo. But do you actually wear this on a daily basis? And you just prove it.
Yeah, that's the work uniform, bro, and that's what I'm doing for all my guys that are working with me is the overalls and flannels.
Yo, let's go, guys! Look at this guy's branding, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. All across the
Yeah,
way that he
buddy.
shows up, the way that this team shows up, the way that his website shows up, the way that their social media looks. I fucking love it, bro. That is
Yeah,
awesome.
it's congruency, man, and I've noticed people really like that. They appreciate that. They see me, and then that's another thing too with me is like my cartoon characters on the truck. They're smiling, so I always make sure that I'm smiling when I'm greeting the customer and hey, how you doing? I'm here to help out, and I would tell people because I'd get so many positive compliments when the truck when we were first new with it, and it was
Yep.
just so unique, it's so different, and people are like, "Oh my god, I love your truck!" It puts a smile on my face. And so I started thinking, I was like, well, you know what? Like, whenever someone calls a plumber, like that's never like a good thing. People wake up and you got a leak, like, oh man, I gotta call a plumber. It's probably gonna cost me an arm and a leg. But, you're having a family get together and the toilet's overflowing and the bathtub's full of, water's not draining. Like, oh, I gotta call a plumber. And no one's really ever happy to call a plumber, but when you see my truck pull up, at least it puts a smile on your face.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And so let's talk about also, Nate, on the same topic of the truck we were just talking about right before we started the recording here. The scaling formula, right? So I mentioned, so you've gotten 2 trucks in 2 years. Does that mean that you're gonna have 10 trucks in 10 years? What do you think about that?
Nah, bro. The way I see it is a compound interest, my friend. So I mean, there's goals, bro. There's goals to it. I'm on the second truck. My goal is to get a third truck before the end of this year, as long as things go well. Who knows how things go with the economy? Everyone's talking about it.
Mhm.
I'm still, getting my name out there. I'm still new. That's the goal, and I'm rolling with the punches, man. And even though my goal is to get one more truck, if there's a demand for it and the phone is ringing and the calls are coming in and people are happy with the service I provide and the guys and the service that my guys are providing, and I can get a fourth truck, shoot, I will. You know,
Let's go. Let's
yeah.
go. So you're not afraid to scale. Let's go. That's what it's
Oh
all
no,
about right there.
yeah. I didn't start this business to just be myself driving the truck by myself for the next 30, 40 years. That
Let's
wasn't my that
go.
wasn't my vision when I decided to get my license and start the business.
Let's go. I love that right there. And on the same topic, Nick, let's talk about that. So how hard is it to get your plumbing license in California?
Bro, like I've had this conversation with a couple of different guys, man. I'm gonna tell you, bro. I'm gonna assume, dude. I'm gonna say you've probably read some books, right?
I have.
Right. Think and Grow Rich, uh, The Magic of Thinking Big, The Science of Getting Rich. I
Right.
read that one. Those are some of my favorite ones right there. I haven't read The Magic of Thinking Big, but I know it's a really good one. The one that I read was
Or the
called Psycho Cybernetics. I don't know if you heard about it.
yeah, Maxwell what's his name? Maxwell?
Yes, Maxwell.
Mhm.
So and check this out, bro. I didn't even finish reading the damn book, bro. I only got to like chapter 2 or 3. But
Mm.
within those first chapters, it's just talking about the mind and how you envision, without getting too woo-woo about manifestation and all that kind of thing, because you got to take action. It's not just about thinking about certain things. You got to take action. I've been
Right.
involved hands-on with the trade for several years. I do things right. I was taught to do things right up to code. And, there's certain things that you got to do certain ways. And what I did, bro, is because that book's like, oh, when you want to achieve something or you want to create something in this life, just envision it and think about it. I just envisioned myself passing my test, bro. Like that's fucking what I did. Like, yes, I know code. Yes, I know there's certain things that you shouldn't do, bro. I studied very little for it, bro. And that's the kind of guy I was, bro. Like in high school, like literally the day before graduation, my mom was getting called saying I wasn't gonna graduate, I wasn't gonna walk, and I was like, "Ma, don't worry, I'll be fine." And I graduated. I didn't go to class. I would ditch. I'd show up to do my test. I would do the major project. I never did homework. I never studied. That's just kind of how I've been. Um, I envisioned myself passing my contractor's test because actually, you know what? It's funny. I rescheduled it 3 times because I hadn't studied. I was like, oh, I haven't studied. I'm gonna
Oh
reschedule my
shit.
test. So I rescheduled it once, twice. The third time, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I've already rescheduled it twice. This is the third time. I have not studied yet. I'm just gonna go fucking take this test and see how it goes, and I'll learn a thing or two if I don't pass or what have you. I had skimmed through my training course. I had ordered some material. I skimmed through it, but didn't do that much with it. What I did is I envisioned myself passing my test down to the detail of the hat I was wearing, to the shirt I was wearing, the pants I was wearing, socks, boots, to the freaking tantarans, everything, dude. I was envisioning myself in the classroom passing my test. I get to the classroom, and then the classroom actually looked different than what I had envisioned in my head. So then I just upgraded my thoughts in my head. All right, boom, here's the classroom. So I started replaying me passing my test, me passing my test.
Wow, bro.
And then I started seeing some different people that are taking different classes or different tests for different trades. And when they're passing their test, the teacher is going and fist bumping him like, "Oh, good job, man, good job." And they're passing. So then I started envisioning myself when I pass my test, homeboy's gonna come up, give me a fist bump because I passed my test, and I'll be good, bro. I freaking flew through my the uh the ethics and like the California state laws. I've been a supervisor and manager in different companies, so it's all basic stuff, team lift. You got to give your guys water. It's
Right.
real simple stuff, man.
Common sense.
Yeah, a lot of common sense stuff. Right, I blew through that one. The one with the code for the actual plumbing. It took me a little bit longer. I did math, bro. I did math that I hadn't done since like fucking elementary school. That was pretty cool. But I mean, I passed, bro, and I mean I chop it down to competence and experience, along with the thought of thinking big, I guess.
Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go. That's awesome, man. I was kind of similar. I mean, I had good grades luckily coming up, but I would procrastinate. That was my thing, bro. I fucking I completed in 2 years back to back when I was like in sixth and seventh grade. I completed the science fair project. They used to have like a science fair. You got to do something, some sort of experiment. Dude, I do that shit the week of. I was in high school and they had like my school where I went to. It was known for a 21-page paper that you have to write. Dude, I did that shit the night before, all nighter. And I was like, fuck it. I was just go rolling with it. It sounds like we're kind of similar in that aspect.
Bro, you know what? Some of the greatest minds I think kind of like this.
Yeah, I agree, bro. And I think there's power in that too, right? Wouldn't you agree? Like, I guess kind of like that brutality that, like, all right, fuck it. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm just going to jump into it and I know I'm going to figure it out. Like, I feel like there's power behind that instead of like, oh, shit, I don't know if I'll do it. I don't know.
Bro, you know what? I think some people, and I think for myself, and it sounds like you probably as well, we do better under stressful situations.
Oh,
Like
thousand
like
fucking percent.
Bro, like it's funny because I was just hanging out with a buddy of mine. He helped me out with some work, and we're talking, and he's hearing me answer the calls, and then I'm talking to the customer, and then I'm doing the work, and then another call comes in, and I'm stepping away, and I'm coming back, and I'm setting up from customers to talking to my marketing people to talking to the customer there in person, and he's like, "God damn, man, aren't you like stressed out?" And I like took a deep breath, and I was like, "Yeah, a little bit, but I don't. I mean, I don't think I would be satisfied if I wasn't."
Yeah, yeah,
I just
yeah.
couldn't. It wouldn't be for me, man.
Yeah, yeah. And what I forgot what the name of this effect is called. There's like how there's raw laws like Parkinson's law and shit like that. There's one of them that says a task will take the amount of time that you allot to it. And a lot of times when we have pressure on ourselves, there's only a limited amount of time that you can do it. And it's funny how we make it happen when the pressure is on us, right? But a lot of times when that pressure isn't on us, bro, you got all day to do something, and then it's like fuck, it doesn't get done. But when you have somebody on your ass and they know, okay, this has to get done, you figure it the fuck out. It's funny how that
Yeah,
works.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Man, and I also wanted to ask you, Nate. I also wanted to ask you. So, yes, you're a plumber. You own this business. How long do you plan on working in your business until you get out of the truck? Do you know yet?
So, my goal as of right now, like I said, my goal is to get a third truck before the end of this year. That being the case, I'm planning on going into next year, 2025, with 3 trucks. That'll be 3 trucks, and I need one person to be answering the phones. The CSR, customer service representative, answering the phone calls,
Mhm.
scheduling the phone calls, maybe checking some emails, checking the mail type stuff. Um, that'll be the beginning of 2025, and as soon as I have that like established, early 2025, that's when I plan on hiring a third tech, keeping 3 trucks, and getting myself out of the truck to oversee the business as a whole, oversee the 3 techs, what they're doing, oversee my CSR, the business, continue to go out there and network and meet people and get the name out there. I really enjoy the marketing side of it, probably focus some more on that and really step more into a manager role instead of wearing all the different hats. Like right now, I'm wearing the hats of the tech, the hat of the manager, the owner, and the one answering the phone. Like I'm wearing all the hats right now. So
Everything.
that's
Yeah.
kind of what my goal is.
Boom. Boom. It sounds like you've got it, man. And I'm glad that, I mean, I'm sure you're glad that of it too, right? That you're kind of in this position and that you didn't just come into something that was already in place, because now when you become, a full-time owner where you're not doing the everyday things, the small things, you'll be able to know what that's like, right? Instead of just coming in as the CEO of something and then you don't know what it's like to be the guy that's the tech. You don't know what it's like to answer the phone. So you can't really train somebody to do something that you haven't done yourself.
Bro, I think it's so much more enjoyable as a man to create something from the ground up and build it up. And like that's like, that's like with the fact that the truck has my name and my logo and my face, like that's me right there. And to grow that from 1 truck to 3 trucks to 6+ trucks, like that's me right there. But like I built that, I created that. I think that just it just feels good to me. To me, that just feels good to be able to
Yes,
create
sir.
something like that.
Sweat equity. Sweat equity. Let's
Yeah, bro.
go.
Hard work pays off, bro. Hard work freaking pays off, man. It's not easy. It hasn't been easy. There's been some sleepless nights. There's been some holiday working weekends. I've missed out on some parties and family time. But I figured if I buckle down right now for a few years, I'll have so much more time to spend and do whatever the heck it is that I want to do with my time. And that's the real goal.
Absolutely. Let's
That's the real
fucking
goal.
go. Let's go. And Nate, we also talked about a little bit about coaching, right? So you mentioned that you have a coach in the space.
Yes, sir.
Now, let me ask you, if you were to go back and start over, right? Let's say you were 2 years ago, you're thinking about starting, would you have hired your coach earlier if you
Oh yeah,
knew
100%.
of the benefits?
Yeah, I would have hired my coach sooner. And I encourage anyone who's listening to this, if you're unsure of how to navigate the business that you want to get into, d- why why twiddle around and try to figure things out when there's someone who's already been there, done that, who has a blueprint, can be like, yo, instead of circling the block over there the wrong way, bro, this street over here, it gets you there quicker and
Yeah.
easier. You know what I mean? 100%. I would have. I'm the type of guy, dude. I've been listening to different podcasts about business, entrepreneurship, self improvement, reading the books. I've done some, seminars. I've done some courses. So I've been kind of on that, path of seeking knowledge and stuff. And I'm real like receptive to gaining new information. Like I listen to my coach. I took the material that he was teaching and I took what made the most sense for me and I applied it and I'm seeing the repercussions of that, of me taking those actions and I'm digging it.
I respect it. I respect it, man. And I'm the same way too, right? In fact, I get in trouble sometimes with my, not in trouble, but like disagreements, I guess, with my some people in my family, right? Because they're like, "Oh, why you pay $2,000 for that course? Tú estás loco?" Because well, I'm Dominican, right? Tú eres loco? What the fuck? Like you spent $2,000, you should have given that to me. I'm like, no. First of all, $2,000, that's an investment that I'm gonna make so much fucking more money on. That is so worth it, right? Like you said, instead of
Yep.
circling the block 50 times, I can go and pay somebody, and I don't have to do that. I can start ahead of where they started, right? Because
Yep.
now I have that knowledge. So I'm like paying off my what does Alex Hormozy call it? He calls it the ignorance that he's paying that off quicker, right? So the
Mhm.
faster that we pay it off, the more that we know we can, you know, get ahead further, right? So like you can kind of get ahead of where your mentor was because you have the shortcuts. All you have to do is now that's when the real work begins, right? Because now you know the knowledge. Now
Yep.
it's up to you to apply it. Even
Yep.
though it's difficult, even though like you said, there's sleepless nights, there's you're gonna have to sacrifice. That all depends on you now. You can't say, "Oh, but I didn't know how to do it." No, motherfucker. Now you
No.
know, but are you gonna execute?
Yep, it's taking accountability, bro. Taking the fucking bull by the horns is what my dad told me, and just taking accountability, bro, and going after it. You mentioned Alex Formosi, uh, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I don't know if you read it with
John Kawasaki.
yep, exactly. He talks about how the rich will spend money to save time, and the poor will waste their time to save money.
To save
Like,
money, yeah.
bro, that shit to me is so freaking hard. And those are some conversations that I have with some family members who can't quite comprehend that. How you mentioned que tu familia, like, oh, está loco, como que, 2000 or whatever. The same thing I mentioned to some family members about a coach and how much I was spending on the coach. And they're like, oh, what? That's crazy. You shouldn't have done that. You got to do it like this. And I'm taking it with a grain of salt, bro. I love my family, but I'm like, okay, I can listen to you who you've been an employee. With all due respect, I love you because we're family, but you've been an employee your whole life. You've maybe moved up within the ranks of the company that you work at, but you've never created a business and scaled it up to being a multi-million-dollar business. Like, whose advice would I take?
Yeah.
The person who's an employee, or the entrepreneur who built something from the ground up? To me, it's like, you can't, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The entrepreneur with the experience is who you should listen to. But
Yeah, dude, 1000%. And I feel for you, bro, because because like you said, I love my family too. You love your family. We want the best for them. In fact, a lot of the reasons why we're even building businesses is for them.
exactly, that's exactly why.
But if we listen to what they're telling us, then we'll never fucking make it happen.
I had a mentor tell me this: when you take someone's advice, that means that you'd be willing to live their life. And you can
Oof.
apply that to something as literal as you want, or you can tweak it, because I've learned to do that. I'm like, sometimes I'll listen to what someone has to say, and I'm like, all right, cool, I like that, because that's kind of how I'm viewing it. I like how that makes sense. And sometimes when someone's kind of going against my grain a little bit, then I start kind of thinking, I was like, all right, well, do I really want this person's life exactly? I'm like, you know what, I want a bigger house, so I can't take his advice. I want a hotter wife, I can't take his advice. It is what it is, bro. So that was my mentor. Shout out to him, R.I.P. Steve Orduno, man. That was a great man. I had a lot of cool conversations with him, dude. He was an awesome entrepreneur, and he gave me a lot of solid ones.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dude, I love it, man. What you just mentioned is powerful too. In fact, you mentioned that you kind of flip it and you kind of twist it in a way, right? I kind of do the same thing. So recently, I was actually in Miami with a couple of friends, right? And of course, we know people go to Miami and they go and show off. They rent cars. They act like it's theirs, but it's not. So I saw a couple of nice cars, right? And I'm like, damn, that's a nice ass motherfucking car. And I have a couple of friends, and sometimes they would say, "Oh, but that's fake, right?" But in my mind, I'm like, it's probably fake, but in my mind, I make it seem real. I make it seem like, oh, that person worked his ass off to get that, and I can do the same thing too. So I let that shit motivate me instead of looking at it like, oh fuck yeah, he's starting. That's just rented, bro. That's just going back to the dealer. I'm like, oh damn, he worked his ass off, bro. Let's go. I know I can do it too.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. And then think about it, bro. You could either be a hater and be like, oh, that shit's rented, that's not his, or whatever, or be like, dog, even to rent one of those fucking cars, it takes money. So
Yo,
if that's a step
facts.
in the
That's a
right
fact.
direction, and here's another, like, on that same example. Back in the day, like, everyone knows Ty Lopez now. Like, Ty Lopez, the
Of
dude's
course, yeah, yeah,
huge,
yeah.
right? All the marketing stuff that he did and all that stuff. I remember back when he was first kind of coming up, and I mentioned him to one of my cousins that was just like, oh, I want to do marketing. I'm like, oh, you should check out this dude, Ty Lopez. He's like, oh yeah, I seen that guy. Isn't that dude fake? Aren't all those cars rented? That mansion's not his. And I'm like, okay, let's say that mansion's not his and those cars are rented. That still takes fucking thousands of fucking dollars. So those are thousands of dollars more than what you have. So, like, how do you want to view it? How do you want to view it? Are those paid models hanging out with him? Well, that costs a lot
Probably.
of money. How do you want to view it? Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Like, even if you wanted to rent it yourself, you probably couldn't do it. So,
Yeah, exactly.
dude, that's funny right there. But man, shout out to Ty Lopez, man. He's making a comeback too. I've been watching some of his videos recently.
Me too, man. Me too. I like his stuff, dude. He's one of the first guys I started watching online. Some of his videos. I seen him come back, and he's been a guest on a couple of different podcasts. I like that dude's style, bro. Everything that he explains. Uh, the fact that he like worked on a ranch and like
Dude,
it's
I was
kind of
gonna
true.
mention that. You probably resonate with that. You know,
Yeah,
he's doing
it's
ranching.
relatable, bro. I hear him talk about how he worked with cattle. I've seen videos of him horseback riding, and I want to hit him up like, "Hey, dog, have you ever fucking ridden a dancing horse? Like, come check out my horse and ride a dancing horse, bro. Like, that should be badass." You know, Ty Lopez or anyone who knows him, you see this, fucking shoot him my way, bro. It'd be cool to do a
Yo,
little.
somebody connect Nate with Ty Lopez right fucking now.
I won't make that shit happen, yes, sir.
That would be awesome. But yeah, and I actually didn't like him too much at first, Ty Lopez, because I was kind of like everybody else, like, oh, this guy's, fucking fake and shit like that. But then I kind of got into him a little bit, and I saw him riding horses, and I saw him talking about raising cattle and doing things on his own, raising his own food. I'm like, yo, that's kind of dope how he's doing that.
Well,
And
yeah,
then I started letting his message kind of resonate with me. So I like that.
there you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Nate, who are some other people that you kind of draw motivation from, or that inspire you, that you listen to frequently?
I like listening to the Patrick Bet David podcast,
PBD.
Entertainment,
Yes,
PBD.
sir.
I met him last year in Miami. Last year, about a year and a half ago, I was out in Miami. No, actually, you know what? It was 2 years ago, bro. 2 years ago, because it was during my birthday in May when I was
Was it
when
at an event, or what was it?
no, I just ran into him um, at the airport. But I had actually met his boy Sosnick, Adam Sosnick, at an
Oh,
event.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there was a networking event out there called I don't know if you heard of Donovan Sharp.
I've heard his name, but I actually haven't looked into him too much. But what
Yeah,
about him though?
I forget the name of the event, but there's some guys out there like I don't know if you heard of Justin Waller
Oh, that's my
or
fucking guy
Sterling
right there.
Cooper.
Come on,
Yeah,
cowboy.
dude, I resonate with his message a lot too, bro, because he's a blue collar baller. That's the first time I ever heard that phrase was blue collar baller was from him. I thought that shit was badass because he got his money by building steel buildings. He says I thought
Still
that's pretty
buildings,
badass.
cowboy.
Yeah, he said he's all. You know what? Growing up in the South, the only way we knew how to make dark money was with work boots. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm fucking damn near getting there, bro. With my work boots, making some doctor like money. So yeah, I resonate with his message. Sterling Cooper was out there too. Um,
Dude, all of them. Tate probably wasn't there though, but he's
I
one of the
wish
boys
he would
though.
have been there, bro. That would have been tight to have met him. But those are some of the guys, bro. You know what? With Tate, dude, when I first saw Tate, I resonated so much with him and his message. He was out somewhere out in the somewhere out in Europe, might have been. He was like out on some mountain, like camping or something, but it was like a nice villa up in some mountain. It was all foggy. And it was during the lockdowns and during all that craziness. And me
Mhm.
personally, bro, I was hardcore against all that shit. Like I don't think it was as big as it was, you know, the media kind of portrayed
Portrayed
it
it
to
to be.
be. Like here in Cali, man, there's a bunch of, sad to say, a bunch of homeless people out here in the streets. And I'll tell you what, man, they weren't dropping like flies. Those are the people that have the least amount of sanitation and health care going on, and they're not dropping like flies. So I'm like, how do you expect me to be all paranoid about all that stuff? But his message was awesome. Like I really like his message that what he speaks on. Like I said, Patrick Bet David. I really like Brad Lee. Brad Lee, I was put onto a buddy
Bradley
about a year
podcast.
ago about Brad Lee that dropping
Dropping
bombs.
bombs. Yep.
Yeah, I like his. Um,
What about this guy? I think you might like him too. You kind of look like him, like your style. Bedros Koulian.
you know what? I have listened to him a little bit. Yeah,
Mm.
I like it when he's a guest on other people's podcasts. Oh, you know who else, dude? Um, fucking
Andy
is it
Frisella.
Wes Watson?
Was Watson in Miami? Yes, sir.
Oh, he's a fucking G, bro. I resonate. I like his message, like his delivery. Like, dude, I'm a fat boy, bro. But when he's talking shit, you fucking fat boy with your fucking torpedo titties and shit. I'm like, fuck, I need to get in the fucking gym. I need to get in the fucking gym. And I've been going to the gym this year. I've been staying pretty consistent with it. I'm still working on it, but I like his message, bro, and just getting your brand out there. Like when he talks about building your brand, I resonate with that, with what I'm doing with my business and my outfit that I wear for my brand, stuff like that. Those are some of the guys that I listen to, bro. I like a lot of their stuff.
Dude, for sure, man. And all of them, all of those guys that you just mentioned, one thing they all have in common is they're quite controversial, right?
Yeah.
Now, some people choose not to resonate with the message. Some people choose to shoot the messenger and not accept the message. But all those guys that you mentioned, bro, I fucking love. Out of all of them, I would say Tate uh, probably resonates with me the most. He's probably been one of the most impactful people in my life, if I'm going to be 100% real, because, and it's not just his style, even though I really fucking like his style. cigars and dressing up because I was doing that before I knew about Tate. I'm 24. I found out about Tate when I was like 21. I remember when I smoked my first cigar, I didn't know Tate yet. And then a year later, I got to find out about Tate, and I was like, "Fuck, bro! Like this guy has the girls, he has the style, he can fucking communicate, he dresses well. I
Yeah.
like his points. He's not a bitch. He's about it." And he kind of showed me that like he was like a walking, talking version of what I wanted to fucking be one
Fuck
day.
yeah.
So I was like, "Fuck, bro! Like that's motivation to me right there." And I know he gets a lot of hate, but I'm like, "Fuck that," because I resonate with his message, and I don't agree with everything, just like I'm sure you probably don't. But
Yeah, bro.
for the most part, bro, he's a fucking G overall to me.
100%. 100%, bro. And I like the fact, like I discovered him. I remember when he was on IG, and I found him out. He was like around, I think like maybe 50 to 70,000 followers.
Mhm.
And his message, I'm like, fuck yeah, everything that he's saying. Like I'll post on my IG about not wearing no fucking face diapers, about ain't no one fucking jabbing me with no shit, all these sort of things. And what's funny, bro, is I would have some friends like, dude, stop posting that shit. Fool, it's bad for business. Don't be doing that shit. I'm like, you know what? Fuck that shit. If someone doesn't want to do business with me because of my viewpoint, fuck them. You know what I mean?
Fuck him, yeah.
That's not how I get down. Like if someone can have a different viewpoint with me, bro, and I'm still gonna shake their hand. I'm still gonna say what's up. I'll still do business. I'll still buy something from them. I'm not gonna completely reject them. But that's like the funny talking about, like you said, all these different guys are controversial. They were mainstream nowadays consider these gentlemen to be more conservative or on the right, what have you. And it's the tolerable left that are so intolerable. You know what I mean? Like that was like their whole thing, that they were supposed to be tolerable, that they're okay with everything, but now they're not okay with anything. They want to, shut you down and silence you and all that kind of stuff. Dude, I agree, bro. Tate is a fucking G. I resonate a lot with most of the stuff that he says. Yeah, there's some things that I don't agree with, but I like it, bro. And he's motivated a whole wave of young men. You know,
100%, bro.
and
100%.
that's what this world needed, bro. Honestly, with everything that's been going on with with some of these other guys talk about, like decline of the West, or the feminization of men. Men need to be men, bro. Men need to freaking step up to the plate. They need to fucking work. We need to work. We need to work out. We need to provide, take care of our family. And I think if the men do that, bro, everyone wins.
I fucking agree with you, bro. Everybody
Everyone
fucking
wins.
wins. Yeah, one
You know?
hundred thousand percent. And it's good that we're kind of going back to those core values of men, right? I
Yes,
forgot
sir.
what the name of the book was. Donovan Mitchell, I think is his name. The Way of Men. And he states in that book that when things go when we strip things away, like when things go bad, like let's say there was like a zombie apocalypse or like some sort of world issue, we go back to our roles, right? Where men are masculine and females are feminine, and females are gonna cook and take care of the kids and shit, and the men are gonna go out and fight. But those things don't have to happen for us to be men and for us to step up to the plate. It's a decision, right? Um, so yeah, man, that's a good point right there.
No, no, and on that same thought right there, on that same track, there's that old saying. I'm sure you heard of it. Hard times create strong
Strong
men
men
create
create soft times.
good times, and good times create weak men. And right now, dude, it's a good thing, and at the same time, it's a sad thing, because in this country, bro, we've had it good for so long. That's why there's so many weak men out there, because we've had it good for so long. We haven't had any real problems, any real things to overcome, any real ordeals to face. And because of that, now the most minute little thing, oh my god, you're not wearing a face diaper, keep your distance. Like that's the problem that you want to tackle.
Yeah,
You know what
man.
I
I
mean?
mean, fucking, yeah, we didn't go through a fucking war. We didn't experience all this shit. So now it's all
Yeah,
this soft shit. But, men like us, we put ourselves through that hardship on purpose so that we can come out, we're willing to throw ourselves into the fire to come out molded. And that's
bro.
what, sets us apart.
You said you're Dominican. I'm gonna assume that you're first generation born here, or you got here at a young age. And
Yeah, I got here when I was 7.
okay, so I'm first generation Mexican, born here.
Mhm.
My parents are immigrants. They came to this country to work and prosper and get ahead in life. And so I still have that. And like my dad was a very strict guy. I love my dad. I thank him for raising us the way that he did. But because of that, bro, like that's why like we put ourselves through the ringer. I've been referring to myself as a fucking grown ass man since I was a little boy. You know, We need more of that type of shit, bro. Dads being there, like, oh, be a man. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm a man. I'm doing it. There's young men nowadays, bro, that are fucking late teens that are still referring to themselves as kids.
Yeah, like what the
Like, bro,
fuck,
where the
bro?
fuck is the mentality at right there, bro? Like, and other times in the past, bro, like by age freaking 15, you're ready to go to war. Quite
Yeah,
literally.
legit, bro. Legit. And it's not, no some funny shit. No, like you're legit a man at fucking 13, 14, 15 years old.
Yeah, 13 years old. Some Hebrews, that's why they have that rite of passage. At 13 years old, the young boy becomes a man. At 13 years of age. Yeah,
Dude,
and we're
that's
missing
a
that as a
great
nation
fucking
here.
point. That's a great fucking point. That's a great point right there. Um, and I had a quick question actually. Yeah, so like do you have any kids yourself yet or not yet?
I don't, bro, not yet, man. I'm single, just focusing on the company, on the career, growing
Hmm.
the business, and definitely one day, dude, I'd like to for sure, 100%. I'd like to have a bunch of kids.
Hell yeah, man. A couple little G's
Hell
walking around
yeah,
with wrenches and shit, cowboy hats and walking
yeah.
around in horses and shit.
Wrangling the horses, man, tackling them down.
That's awesome. Yo, I actually have a passion for horses too. Not in a way of like I actually haven't explored it yet. But when I was like 6, me and my brother rode a horse, and my brother was like riding it, and I was like in the back, and we got kicked off because I was like slapping the horse, and we fell into mud and shit.
Oh,
But
damn.
dude, I've always fucking wanted to like go to a resort in the Dominican Republic or anywhere in the world that has horses and has good weather, and just ride a fucking horse, bro. I feel like doing that. Like it makes me feel traditional when I think of doing that. I feels good, bro. I want to fucking do that. Maybe I'll even fucking pull up to fucking California, bro.
Dog,
We'll get on
whenever
a
you're
fucking
in Cali,
dancing
bro, if
horse.
you want to make that your trip to Cali, bro, mi casa, su casa, mi rancho, su rancho. Come out here, bro. We'll get you on a dancing horse, bro. Yeah, think about that, bro. You said you had this idea, this vision of riding a horse somewhere, wherever it may be. How about a dancing horse? That should be pretty
A
badass.
dancing horse. Holy shit. I don't know if I'll be able to handle it though. Do I have to do anything specific for it to dance or what?
Yeah, yeah. But we'll teach you about that once you're out here.
Let's fucking go. Let's go. And Nate, real quick, let's get into a little bit of marketing and then I know I want to be respectful of your time, so I don't want to take you too long, man. But I wanted to ask you, how did you get up to 120, what was it? 120 reviews on Google?
I did that by providing the best customer service in my area, man.
Oof. And now, how does it look when you ask for the review? Do you ask for it? Is it automated through a CRM? How does that work?
So it's a combination of those things. So last year was my first year in business. During the month of February was my slowest month, like scary slow. Like I was worried I wasn't gonna, I was like, man, I did the wrong move. I should have stayed on my 9 to 5. So I started going online, researching, and came across some podcasts, and they're like, Google my business. You need to have this. Once you have your business, you have your website, Google my business, and these are all your socials. So I was like, Google my business. I looked into it. I applied. I got the postcard. Had to do a little video to proof of where my address is at for the business. Google my business went live in March, beginning of March of last year, and I gave myself the goal. I was like, well, between now and the end of the year, I want to get 100 reviews minimum. And I came in on New Year's Eve. I got my 100th review. And like I said, bro, I was providing excellent customer service, answering the phone when the phone rang, scheduling the call, showing up when I scheduled the call, communicating with the customer. For whatever reason, I wasn't going to be able to make it. I'd give them a call, like, hey, my apologies. I can be there at this time or this day. If that works for you, cool, boom, I'm there. Um, I'm real big on being transparent up front, letting the customer know, like, this is the issue. We can do this, or that. It'll
Mhm.
cost you this much. Customers appreciate that. uh Smiling, dude, smiling, keep it clean, bro, clean. That's one of my biggest things is clean, bro. Like as a plumber, especially service and repair,
Mhm.
we get a bad rep for being dirty and making messes, and sometimes our work is dirty. However, I lay down tarps. I If it gets messy, I clean stuff up. I have disinfectant spray. I spray, I wipe things down. It smells good.
Mhm.
At the end of the job, I clean up, thank you for everything, process payment. Hey, you know what? I'd really appreciate if you'd go online and give me some feedback. Send
Hmm.
them the link. They go online, they give me some feedback. And I also do have an automated service through my scheduling software where after I complete a job, they get an email on asking for a review. So it's a combination of all those things.
Perfect. That's a beautiful way to go about it. And dude, it sounds like you go out the extra mile. You don't have to clean things up. You don't have to put down towers, but you do. And
Yep.
and that is what makes a difference right there.
Hmm.
That is what sets you apart. And I can definitely, and dude, it's like five, like 4.9 stars, right? That's fucking damn near perfect right there.
Bro, and if
Um,
you look at the negative reviews, you'll see that uh, two of them are based off of price. They're upset at the price.
at the
They,
price, yeah,
they feel it's
yeah,
too much, and I didn't even do any work for them. And then the other one was like, "Hey, you know what? I'm not going to put a band-aid on this. I'm going to do it the right way." Oh no, I want you to put a band-aid on it. Well, then I'm not your guy. So I'm not even bothered by those negative reviews because the other
yeah,
ones are
exactly,
whale.
exactly. And that's actually a question that I get a lot. Actually, it's like, oh, how do I get rid of those negative reviews on Google? I'm like, no, you can't. The only way to get rid of it is to get so many fucking good reviews that those two become obsolete.
Yep. Shout out to my boy Zach out in Canada. He says, whenever you get a 1-star review, bury it with 5 stars. So
Whew,
that's the
let's fucking
mindset.
go. I
Yeah,
like that mindset right there. Say it one more time.
whenever you get a 1-star review, bury it with 5 stars.
Yes, go. Let's go. And then how about your current marketing, right? So how are you bringing leads into the door? I know you're working with a marketing agency. I know you're killing it locally. Of course, you have that beautiful truck that people are going to see and call. But how does that look like? What is the combination of you guys getting work?
Cool. Yeah. So it's like what you said right there. I do have a marketing team. I also have the truck. It stands out. I get a tons of positive feedback for that. Last year during my slow time that I said I was real worried about February, March, I
Mhm.
had a bunch of doorknob hangers printed out with our information, a logo, a little backstory. On each one of those doorknob hangers, I put a magnet. Literally took the time of cutting a little piece of double-sided sticky tape, putting it on the doorknob hanger, sticking the magnet on there, and then I went through the neighborhoods and I hung them up. Doorknob. I knocked. If I got an answer, I would engage with the customer, put a face to the name, interact with them, hand them the pamphlet. If they didn't answer the door, put the doorknob hanger on the doorknob. I did that. Social media, that's how I found my coach during those times watching podcasts. He said, hey, you know what? Everyone's on social media nowadays, post these social media memes related to plumbing. And so I started doing that, 2 memes a day, every day, and boosting the posts to your
I've
local.
noticed you have quite a lot of those memes. How well are those working out? Are those to target clients in your area?
Yes. It's
Do they
it's
work?
Oh yeah, dude. I've gotten so like it's a combination of all those things. The doorknob hangers I got on calls this year from last year. Last year during that time, I think I got maybe 1 or 2 calls from
Mhm.
them. Mind you, the average homeowner needs a plumber about I think it's every 2 to 3 years on average. A homeowner is going to need a plumber. So it's like they're planting seeds, is how I see it. I left the card there. They get the magnet, they put it on their fridge. Every day they go to open the fridge to get food, dinner, lunch, what have you. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years later, oh snaps, I got a leak. My water heater stopped working. My toilet won't flush. Oh yeah, Santos Bros. Let me call them real quick. That's how I see that. They see my truck. I've gotten calls. So whenever people call me, I always ask, "Oh, how is it that you heard of us?"
Yes.
And I've got multiple times where like, it's like, "Oh, I just Googled plumber near me, and I've seen your memes online, and I recognize you on the list of plumbers here." So it's like a 2 and 2 connection. They didn't just. I've had a couple people say that, "Hey, oh, I see your memes, so that's why I called you." And then I've had more people say, "I've seen your memes. I Googled the plumber. You came up. I recognize you from your memes, so that's why I called you."
Wow, it's funny how all those things are tied together like that. That's beautiful.
Yep, and I've even had people just say, random people, bro. I'll be like at a parking lot, like at Albertsons. I've been at Target, and people pulled up next to me on the road at a stoplight. Hey, man, I seen your memes. They're fucking funny.
So it's working. It's
So it's
working.
working, bro. It's getting the name out there. And like I said, it's brand awareness. It's planting seeds. Not everyone needs a plumber on a daily basis, but whenever the plumbing emergency comes up, they're gonna think about me.
Let's go. That's something I'm actually starting of getting in memes. Mostly I've just been doing a lot of regular serious like straight to the camera content, but I want to keep it fun. I want to keep it like kind of how you're doing it too. So I'll definitely implement some of that.
There you go.
Sure. And Nate, how are you so okay, like a call, like a lead comes in from the website, it probably comes into your CRM, or do they call you? Do they fill a form? What does that? How does that look like?
So there are some people that do fill it out online. I think it kind of depends where you're at. We're pretty small town, like I said right here. Population 30,000 in the media town that I live in.
Mm-hmm.
It's still kind of a little bit on the old school side. So I rarely, seldomly do I get an email saying like, "Oh, this person, booked a call," and they give me all their information. Most of the time, it's a phone call, and when a phone call comes in, I'm the one answering it. Hi, I'm Nate Santos. Thank you for calling Santos Plumbing. How can I help you? And they say they got something going on. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I can definitely help you out with that. Yeah, let me get your information down. What's your first and last name? What's your email address? Best phone number to contact you is at this one here that you're calling me from. What's an email address? Street address. I can be there between this time and that time. It's going to be an $89 diagnostic charge to come out there. However, if I do any work for you, I waive the $89. Oh, cool, awesome. And that's
Oh,
pretty much it right
oh,
there.
that's pretty much right there. That's awesome right there. I love the flow of it too, and I like the fact that you kind of mentioned, that you'll reimburse them if they actually do work with you. It's kind of like a little hook, kind of reeling them in, right? Because you're gonna
Yeah,
inspect it anyways. Now you might as well be the guy that fixes it because you're already there, right?
yeah. So some guys don't waive that. There's
Ah,
some guys that'll be like, oh, it's $100 for us to come out plus whatever work we do,
mm, on
and
top of that, yeah,
yeah, on top of that. So I think it's kind of like an incentive. If I do any work for you, I waive it. Because on average, man, any sort of plumbing work is going to be more than $89. So to me, that's an easy charge to waive, and that just shows that I'm helping them out, and it also kind of weeds out some of the guys that are price shopping. There'll be some customers because not every customer is the right customer. I'm not compatible with everybody. For some people, I consider myself to be a premium service, and a premium service comes at a premium rate. And so
exactly.
some folks aren't looking for a premium service. Some folks don't care that I put a drop cloth down and that I'm clean and that I'm available the same day. They're okay with waiting a couple weeks, a few weeks for
Shitty
Joe's
service.
Joe's Plumbing to show up with dirty boots and no uniform, and he can be a little less clean, and they'll pay less, and they're okay with that. And if that's who the route that they want to go, I'm okay with that also.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if
dude, 1000%. Yeah, in fact, I just had a podcast last week with friend Chris from ICS HVAC here in New Jersey. He mentioned, but I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, right? Because he mentioned that if you, like, let's say you as a business owner, if you start targeting those weak, or not weak, but those cheaper clients that value your service less, then it comes with a bunch of headaches, right? Because those people tend to be the ones that complain the most,
yep.
and the most shit, goes wrong. Plus, it's just not as, they're not gonna be rooting for you as much as somebody that actually values you and that sees the value in what you do, appreciates it.
Yep. My uncle that I learned the trade from, he would say, "No good deed goes undone." Sometimes someone might be struggling and they want, kind of cut them a break, give them a better deal, and that's why I said one of the bad reviews that I have is from a person that was upset because they wanted me to put a band-aid on the repair, and I said I'm not going to put a band-aid on this because it's going to fail, and when it fails, you're going to be upset at me because it failed, and then you're going to expect me to come back out here and make it right again. And once I touch the job, I own it, and I'm not going to put myself in that predicament. So we can either do it the right way at this rate. If that works for you, let's move forward. If that doesn't work for you, I'm okay with walking away from any work, man, because you know we're pretty much taking on that liability whenever we do that job. And
Yeah,
if it's
and
not for the
I
right
love the
price,
fact that you said right there, when I touch it, I own it, meaning that you're gonna take full accountability for it
hundred
until it's
percent.
done right, all the way
And
to the end.
I warranty my work, man. There's some guys that don't offer that. I warranty my work. If anything fails with this, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna take care of it. So that's why I do things right.
Respect,
Yeah.
respect, respect, man. And it sounds like you really have everything dialed in as far as your marketing, man. Because not only, because a lot of the times, one thing I recommend to a lot of the clients that I work with, right, in the home services space, is like they come in, they're not even doing any marketing physically, right? So that means they're not doing door hangers, they're not doing business cards, they're not doing uniforms, they don't have a truck, they don't have any material that's physical they can hand out, but they're trying to go digital. And I'm like, okay, that's good. That's, I mean, it's sometimes even more advantageous to go digital first, but you also have to make sure that when you show up, you're coming, the way you present yourself has to be professional, right? So I recommend business cards. I recommend these things. I recommend investing in a truck wrap because that's free marketing, right? That's free eyes. You pay for that once, and then as many people see it, it's not like pay per click where you're spending a set amount of money and then it's gone, right? It's one time and then you use it forever. So that's very important to take up the physical, and you've done that masterfully, right? You got the truck, you got the appearance that you guys show up on the website that looks good. You guys have a shit ton of reviews, so you guys have it pieced together, man. And I love the formula that you have right now for scaling, which is to continue to um, make each technician more profitable, and then bring in more trucks and get more process, and then you step out of the business. So, dude, I see a bright motherfucking future for you guys over at Santos, man, for
Hell yeah.
sure.
Gracias, bro. I appreciate that, bro. I really appreciate that. Yeah, man. It's being professional and how you show up, bro. Like my whole idea of how I show up, bro, is a reflection of me and where I want the business to be. And I don't know if you read our little my little backstory on the website. Like during the lockdowns, I was working out of a little broke down Toyota Corolla. And I'd have pipes sticking out the side of the freaking windows, and I had the trunk full of all my tools, and there's some of the bigger tools that I couldn't carry in there, and I'd kind of leave it at home, and I'd come back if I needed it. And that's how I was operating, man. And I was able to scale up, and I got a pickup. Finally got a box truck. Now I'm in my second box truck, and that's the deal, man.
And now we're gonna come up to the third by the end of the year, man. So,
Yes,
dude, you
sir.
guys have
Yes,
got it,
sir.
bro. And I'm super fucking excited to see you guys grow. I'm super fucking excited to pull up to California one of these fucking days and ride that dancing horse, man. Yeah, for sure, man. And Nate, I just want to say thank you so much, man, for being a part of this podcast, taking time out to be, to talk to our audience, be able to shout yourself out. And now I kind of want to give you some spotlight, right? How can people get in contact with you? What's the best way to reach you?
First off, man, thank you for having me, Manuel. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I checked out your shows before I agreed to it. I like the way that you're running it. Having the conversation with the guys, getting to know them, kind of getting a backstory on them, and then coming in at the end and offering your 2 cents and your opinions. I think that's awesome, bro. I think the market's gonna see the value in what you're providing for as far as podcast listeners go, and be able to apply some of the stuff that you're offering. And if anyone wants to get a hold of me, man, you can find me on my website, santosbrosplumbing.com, or you can also find me on Instagram, Santos Bros Plumbing, as well as Facebook, Santos Bros Plumbing. Yeah, if you're listening to this anywhere in the States, and you're a competent plumber and you're willing to drive your own truck and tackle a day of service calls, and you're looking to come out to Cali, man, give me a holler.
Yes, sir. There it is, guys. Reach out to Nate if you're looking for a job in California as a plumber. You're gonna have a great experience, a great culture. And Nate, man, again, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. Everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was another episode of the Digital Toolbox. If you guys need any digital marketing advice or have any questions, reach out to me. If you're in the California area, definitely reach out to Nate. If you're a plumber anywhere in the US and you're looking to relocate to California to pursue your California dream and your plumbing dreams, work with Nate. And yeah, that was another episode of the Digital Toolbox. Take care, guys. Peace.
Deuces.